Hello, welcome to the Q, Operation Ultra. It is the British Commonwealth turn 5. And here is the purchases. Canada is producing a fighter, a infantry, and we're going to save $5 from their stack of cash. Britain at 51 is purchasing 2 infantry, and this is for Cairo, a Churchill tank. 2 Spitfires. South Africa, we're going to build a British Marine, and in Sydney, we're going to build a British Spitfire. South Africa is going to spend 3 of its 5, save 2, just going to buy an infantry. Canada is, or Anzac, I think they're spending all of it there. That's 15. This is going to be a Spitfire. I don't actually have Spitfire sculpts for Anzac, so I'm going to put that orange chip under it. And a Marine. Well, it's their version of a Marine. I believe it's called Z Infantry. That is 5, 17, 20. So that's their $20. So they didn't save anything. So that is their purchase. And I'll explain the radar tower when I put it out for those of you unfamiliar with its use. All right, so combat. We have some combat here in the Middle East, and that's it. We've got one South African walking up from Lower Egypt. I'll take that chip off and grab a South African, and that'll take the Italy down 2 and Britain back up 2. So let's move them down to 26, and I'm up to 43 over there. All right. We've got a bomber here coming out of Cairo with a movement of 3 left, a fighter coming out of Upper Egypt with a movement of 2 left. We're going to bomb that factory. I contacted Italy. They do not want to intercept, so this fighter does nothing. The bomber will bomb that factory. All right, and then the overkill battle will be here in Transjordan. Let's bring a transport from C-Zone 77. We'll grab a tank, South African medium armor. 1, 2, 3. I'll put him up here because he's used. That means, and he's going to grab an infantry from Upper Egypt and drop there. So that transport dropped the infantry and medium armor. This transport will grab an artillery and an infantry. So I'll put those there. That's this transport. It is used. This transport will also do the same. It's going to grab one of the South African infantry and South African artillery. And that transport is used. This transport will non-com. Let me get that chip. I put that South African guy there. All right, so these 2 guys did not move. All right. We've got a medium armor from Cairo coming in. From Iraq, we've got 2 medium armor and 2 infantry. And that is our assault. We're going to throw in a planes, of course. We got a tactical. We got 3 Spitfires. We got these 2 fighters on the carriers. And the tactical swordfish. All right, so all that's going in. So we were able to offload 6, but we only have 4 bombards here. 2 cruisers and the 2 battleships and 2 cruisers. I don't believe destroyers have a bombard going. We should have plenty here to kill the 2 Italian artillery. You know what I got to do? Just a second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Let's roll some dice. Let's start off with this battle here. The anti-aircraft will be this at a 2. I need a D6. What did I do? There it is. All right. So 1d6 worth of damage. All right, let's see what we got. 1 damage, but we didn't get shot down. So let's put 1 damage under that factory there. That wasn't really quite the risk there for 1 damage, but it is what it is. Next, let's just start off with the 3 Spitfires because that's our highest dice roller there. Those 3 are at 7, but our tactical is also at a 7. So we got 4 at 7. And I'll be dang if we only got 1 hit. All right, well, we've got 3 tanks and 2 fighters to get that last hit at 6. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we got plenty of hits to get the 2 artillery. Trying to find a spot to stick them. I guess that's fine. So the artillery gets to fire back. What does artillery defend at? It's different in this game. Artillery attacks at a 3 but defends at a 4. All right, so 2 at 4. And there's a 2. So they do get 1 hit. We'll lose that FEC infantry just because their country's gone. He served his time. And I think that's it. That's it for combat, right? There's just those 2. Yes. All right. So Italy's going to go down 1, and Britain's going to go up another 1. All right. So that is combat. Let's land our planes. This fighter here that was escorting will go 1, 2 into Lower Egypt. The bomber will go back to Cairo. So that's done. The 3 Spitfires will go back to Cairo. 1 fighter will go to Cairo. Both tacticals, the Swordfish and the Mosquito, go back on the carriers along with a fighter. All right, so all this is in that C zone. This transport has not moved. He's just going to go 1, 2, 3 down into 77. This destroyer here in 65 will move over 1, join the fleet in 64. Yeah. All right, so any other movements here in the Middle East? Yeah, the guy from Tehran will come down to Iraq, and from Kashmir, this infantry and anti-aircraft will go into southern Iran. All right, that is that. Push all that up into Transjordan now. So we have made our move. See what Italy does in response. All right, so we've got 1 British infantry that's going to load this transport in 77. We've got a port, 1, 2 into 59, and 3 into 56. And Liberia will join the British forces, so that gives them another bit of income. This French destroyer, or not destroyer, submarine will come 1, 2, 3 into 36 in the mid. The rest of those ships will stay. Up here, we're going to load up the 2 Canadian infantry, 1 Canadian artillery, 1 British artillery on the transports. 1, 2, 3 into C Zone 52. And accompanying them will be the French cruiser destroyer and the 2 British destroyers. And the Russian fleet will probably follow. Well, wait, maybe it depends what U.S. builds. They might be good for protecting the Canada build next turn too. The 2 fighters, 1 British, 1 Canadian on Nova Scotia. There's an air base there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Rio de Oro. And the medium bomber from London, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think that's it for the movement here on the Atlantic side. We're done here in Africa, the Middle East. We're just going to back up our Navy here. So 2 Anzac and 1 British destroyer, and they're going to move into 99 here. And 2 cruisers will follow. Transport will follow. And let's see, now the 2 subs, Anzac subs, will follow. All right. So that is what's stacked up in C-Zone 99. The infantry, artillery in South Australia will go over to Western Australia. And that should be it. All right. Yep, we're done. No more movements. Don't see any markers. Let's place our goods. So for Canada, we're going to place the fighter there at the factory. This infantry will go all the way up here in British Columbia. Over to the British, we've got 2 infantry going on these military bases in Tehran and Upper Egypt. We have in Cairo 2 more Spitfires and a Churchill tank. All right. South Africa. We've got the South Africa infantry and the British Marine. And then over here in Sydney, we'll go all these lovely units. And the Anzac Spitfire, the British Spitfire, and the Anzac Z infantry, which is basically a Marine, and then our radar tower. And the radar tower boosts our anti-aircraft by 1, so it goes from 2 to a 3. It also allows 4 planes to scramble from the airbase. That's why I brought in a British fighter as well, the Spitfire. But it also allows all 4 of those aircraft, when they scramble, to be at +1. So these 2 will scramble at 8s, and those 2 will scramble at 7s. So that's the reason for the radar tower, and it's a lovely item, and hopefully that's the deterrent we need, and we're done. Let's look at some cash. So Canada saved 5, so let me just set their cash up there. They spent all of theirs. South Africa saved 2. Let's put it, I'm just going to stack it up here, and then they spent all theirs. All right, so we're going to start from scratch. I need my sheets with the bonus money here. All right, so their bonus, well, let's do their cash first. So they're at 45. You know, did I move them up for that? I went up 2, 3, 4. Yes, I did. All right, so they're at 45. So let's put out, there's 45, there's $50. So we'll take the first $5 of that 8 naval transports. So that's 50, 45 plus that 5. And then we have 3 for controlling our original territories in Africa. And we have all the Middle East. So that will be an additional 8. So that will give us, Britain, I say, 58 for next turn. 58. I don't know where my British marker went. All right, so Canada, the C zone, convoy zone up there is clear. Clear by default. They made an attack and were sunk. So Canada went back up to 10. So their starting income will be 10. They saved 5. So that'll be 15. And their bonuses for Canada is 2 for the transports and 3 when the U.S. is at war. So that'll be another 5. So they'll have 20 for next turn. South Africa is at 4. They saved 2. So let's give them a starting cash of 6. And I think they just get 1 for the 8 transports. That's true. So they will have a total of 7 for next turn. All right, and Anzac is down to 12. So let's grab $12 for them. And their bonuses. Let's look and see what their bonuses are. All right, Anzac. They've got $3 for the islands that they control and $2 for the transports. So they're going to get 5. So that means Anzac will have 17 for next turn. 17 for Anzac, 7 for South Africa, 58 for Britain, and 20 for Canada. And that is the end of our turn. If you want to hang around for the recap of units, that's great. If not, see you later. All right, so movement. We placed a fighter up in Canada. That's the only change there. Well, an infantry on the far side in British Columbia. Down here in C Zone 52 is 2 transports, 1 cruiser, 3 destroyers. 2 artillery, 2 infantry are loaded. C Zone 53 is now a destroyer, 2 subs. Rio de Oro, 2 fighters, 1 bomber. C Zone 36 is a sub. C Zone 56 is a transport, Liberia, 2 infantry. Marine, infantry, anti-aircraft gun in South Africa, transport in 77. C Zone 64 is now 5 destroyers, light carrier with a swordfish, regular carrier with a tactical and a fighter, 2 cruisers, 2 battleships, 3 transports. Lower Egypt, fighter, artillery, medium armor, South African infantry in Alexandria, 1 damage on the factory in Tobruk. Lower Egypt is 3 infantry. In Cairo is 2, 4, 6 infantry and 5 Spitfires, 1 fighter, 1 Churchill tank, and 1 medium bomber. Transjordan is 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry, 2 artillery, 4 medium armor. Iraq infantry, Tehran infantry, South Iran infantry, AA gun. Western Australia infantry artillery, Queensland infantry artillery. Sydney is 2 Spitfires, 1 British, 1 Anzac, 2 regular fighters, 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry, 1 artillery, 1 AA gun, 1 radar tower, and then 1 basically an Anzac Marine. And then C Zone 99 is 4 destroyers, light carrier, 3 subs, 2 cruisers, and a transport. That'll do it. Next up is the United States. What will happen over there?